So I guess you're really interested in the subject of cable and telephone. We have a full house here. So this is going to be like when you go to church on a really busy day like Christmas or Easter, and the pastor asks everybody to scoot in together closer. We still have people coming in, and there's middle seats that are available. And so if you can, please scooch in, because we literally can't fit any more chairs in here. So anything that you can help as people trickle in a little bit later, because we know that always happens, will be very much appreciated. Welcome to our town hall meeting, our introduction to Hotwire. As you know, Hotwire will be providing our cable, our telephone, and our internet services throughout not only this community, but also Grand Lake and the original campus. We'll have one provider for all three properties. We're very excited. I want to remind everybody that it took a lot of work to get to this point. An exhaustive search, a request for proposal was sent out to multiple companies. There were multiple interviews on the phone, in person. There were product demonstrations. And there were also focus groups, members of this community. And I must thank everybody from this community that did contribute, also the original campus. And we did also have a focus group for the Grand Lake residents as well. We took everybody's feedback. There was extensive contract negotiations, and we decided, we landed with Hotwire, and we're really pleased with that decision. And I think you will be too, especially after this meeting. So I'm going to stop talking now, except for just mention we will have question and answer time. And I may interject at times if I feel it necessary, but Teresa is going to basically lead the charge with the information. So if we find that more information is needed afterwards, we will certainly address that. And I also want to remind everybody that we are recording this. So if you get back and you have that one question, you can't remember what the answer was, whatever, for whatever reason, it will be available on the website. And for anybody who's missed this meeting, they'll be able to view it as well. We'll also, have they had the town hall meeting at the original campus yet? I don't think so. So in 2 weeks, there will be another one, and you may have an opportunity to just join that. It'll be a little bit different, but the basic information will be the same as far as what's being offered. Okay? So, without further ado, I want to welcome Teresa to the stage.
Thank you, Jordan. Thank you. It's nice to be here. Hello to everybody. And I'm Teresa Fletcher, and I'm the General Manager, EVP for Hotwire for Southwest Florida, which of course is this market. And thank you for having us. Thank you for joining us in the town hall. And what we would like to do with respect to the agenda is show you a short video on who Hotwire is, just give you a pretty high level of the company. And then we'd like to go through the different phases for your property, which include, how you'll be installed, consultations, post-installation, just all the specifics, but at a very, very high level. And then at the end, we will leave the room open for question and answer. And then after those question and answers, and I'm pretty thorough, we have enough representatives here to answer pretty much all questions that we've encountered. And then at the end of this session, we do have our residential sales specialists, which you will learn about them in this presentation, that you can meet with after this meeting and schedule a one-on-one consultation. And again, I'll walk you through a little bit more of that as we get into the presentation. So if it's okay with y'all, I'd like to just go ahead and get started, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, that we do have a hard stop at 4:30. I thought that we did because of the filming. Okay, all right, but good. So we'll come in for a minute and play the video.
Communication, entertainment, connectivity. Hotwire Communications is the perfect partner to future-proof your community. We are the experts at developing ultra-connected, beyond state-of-the-art fiber-to-the-home networks that provide quality of life advantages and long-lasting benefits to each community we serve. With increased property values, accelerated home sales, and the health of local businesses. Because fiber is not only the future, it's the now. As home automation, streaming entertainment, security, and storage all rely on the ultra-connected, blazing fast internet speeds of today. No other company is more excited or better suited to become your telecommunications provider. You won't see us on a billboard or hear about us in a TV commercial, but we have a lot to brag about, independently recognized by PC Mag for the highest quality and speeds, and consistently ranked the fastest ISP by Netflix. At Hotwire, we've been on the cutting edge for years, delivering the highest level of white glove concierge-style service to multifamily and multi-tenant communities since 2002. Hundreds of thousands of customers rely on us, and through our Fission Home, Work, Stay, Government, Encore, and U brands, we've been delivering fiber-based solutions and services to homes, businesses, hotels, public sectors, senior and assisted living centers, and college campuses. And why did they choose Hotwire? Our unique white glove approach to customer service includes full-time, fully trained Hotwire employees to serve as your on-site manager during construction and throughout your contract. In-home concierge consultations to assess your needs, technicians dedicated to your property, and Fission educators to teach you how to get the most out of your Fission products. With the features you want, the quality you demand, and the customer care you deserve. Like true HD quality you will notice right away, and the instant channel change that is only possible with the high utilization bandwidth we bring right to your home. Plus, Replay TV, allowing you to rewind live television and catch up on programs you just missed. Our Mosaics feature lets you watch up to 4 channels at once to never miss a moment of the action. We'll also customize a unique community channel for your property and let you send out messages to your community with important notices appearing on screen. Voice control functionality lets you be in command of TV content without ever having to lift a finger. Then, the accelerated gigabit internet speeds will wow, providing dedicated multi-gigabit home connections with no data caps or throttling. Get used to blazing fast connections, all on a beam of light, minimally 60 times faster than what you are experiencing now. All connected via our own high-speed backbone and serviced at our Fort Lauderdale headquarters. This Cat 5 proof facility includes a Tier 4 data center and can operate independently during power outages. So get ready for the speed you'll need in the digital age. Let Hotwire Communications share with you our fiber vision and empower you to take on the future today.
Sorry. It's hard having to, manage both of these, but as you saw, we're headquartered in Fort Lauderdale, but we are regionalized, and myself and the entire team of 160 employees, including technicians and customer support, all reside in this market. And I think that that's truly what separates us from some of our larger competitors, and we truly are focused on the customer, and that's how our business model is created and sustainable, and we're just all very, very proud to be a part of such an incredible company with such a great culture. We are a privately held company and run by a husband and wife, Michael and Kristen Karp. And Kristen runs the day-to-day operation while Michael runs, more of the global perspective of the company. So, as it said, headquartered over in Fort Lauderdale, but we do have regions throughout the entire state of Florida, up into Georgia, over to North Carolina, and then up into the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. This is just an example here of, the network, the fiber. We are really still one of the first in the industry to be a true fiber to the home provider. It's not a hybrid of fiber, it's 100% fiber, and that is our differentiator. And we share this with you because we know that nobody wants, internet, video, or phone to go out. And building this redundant ring the way our engineers have so beautifully built over the years, shows you the, our backbone, how we loop into South Florida and then go up through the East Coast. And of course, if it's cut, it's redundant and it flows back the other way. But again, this redundant fiber ring enables us to offer, the service up really 100% of the time. It's very, very, very rare that we go down for service. This is just an illustration of who we are, compared to the big telcos, if you will, and that AT&T being the largest with 22 million subscribers, and we're down at the bottom with 150,000 subscribers. And we point that out because, again, it's a differential for us and how we treat the residents, our customers, that we're not a huge conglomerate pressed to continually add properties or add units to our base. We're more concerned with serving a property at 100% and that the residents of that property are 100% satisfied with the product and the offerings that we offer. Thank you. I also think it's important to point out that our call centers are U.S. based, and they are based in our Fort Lauderdale office with a backup team in Tucker, Georgia. And 24/7, and just very proud of how quickly we can answer the calls. And another unique element of our company is that we try and stop you from calling that 1-800 number. And I feel as you go through the presentation, you'll see all the people that are here and that will be assigned to your property to help you if you have any issues, so that you don't have to call a 1-800 number and even be on hold for 60 seconds or longer. But it is important that they are U.S. based, and that's important to us as well. Property launch process. So this is where we are now. We're in launch, and that's where we're in the phase of the fiber has been installed to the property, and the construction crew right now is splicing the fiber and getting it ready for the individual units. So during the launch period, construction begins, which I think was pretty non-invasive for this property because there was a lot of fiber on the property. We shift over and come into the town hall, which is here. And I'm not your account manager, but your account manager is Adam Brokoff, and you will get to know him very well, and I'll spend a little bit more time on his role as we go through the presentation. Residential sales specialist, I spoke about them, and they are here this afternoon to help you set up one-on-one consultations in order to schedule a meeting just to review what you currently have with your phone, with your internet speed, your viewing habits, so that when they come into your home to set up your account, that you have everything that you're accustomed to, and that when the technicians come in, they know exactly what has been ordered for your specific resident. Property is ready released. We're probably ready to release. That means that we have been certified by the engineering team and that everything on the property and the head-end is working at 100%. And once that is sanctioned, then it gives us the green light to allow us to start with your installations. But of course, we do not start that until the entire property is 100% certified for release. Once it is released, we start the installations. And the installations will be scheduled with your RSS rep and other individuals calling at your time and schedule based on your schedules. You'll start to receive, invites, and I'll show you the different ways that we communicate regarding the installation time schedules. Then you'll come, of course, into the installation. Interesting that our technicians aren't given quotas. We don't operate that way. We only allow them to do 2 jobs per day when we're new into a property because we want them to, one, not be rushed. We want them to have the time, if they have to spend 4 hours in your home, to spend that time with you, and that they are expert in all levels of all of our products. They can help explain the products to you. They can help you set up your network. They can help you set up your passwords and just be 100% certified that when they walk out of your home, that you're 100% activated and that you know how to use everything that they just installed. We also do, after that installation, follow-up calls into the home to ensure that it's working to the level that we see. We also have quality control people that come in behind our install technicians, not 100%, but the ratio is about 40%, where they will come in and spot check the installation and that it was done properly, again, to ensure that everything is operating at 100%. This is your account manager, so we're shifting here. So we go and you get installed, and once the property is at 85% installed, then your property moves from what we call launch, and we move you into operations, because when you move into operations, takes a different set of skills from the technicians, from account management as to what is needed on the property. When you shift over into operations, we still have an individual assigned to the property, and instead of it being a launch account manager, it's an account manager, and that account manager is assigned to your property for the duration of the contract. And based on the needs of the property, they'll be on site some, they'll host meetings for you, they'll just help with everything, but they're your go-to person. They're the subject matter expert, and you will get to know them and become friendly with them. And they're here, and it's just a great value to bring back to you with anything that you might have questions with. I'll be taking, I'm taking care of you from the day forward, and we'll stay with you for the next 10 years. They will also work with you on your Hotwire app, the mobile app, which I'm going to walk you through some of the screens there, because that's a great communication tool for us to use as a company to talk to you about any appointments, if it's the installation, if it's a year down the road and you might have a change of equipment, then just different ways that we are allowed to communicate with you. This is your community website. And Adam, is this live now? Is this up and live? Okay. So this is a community website that is built for your community. And as you can see, you have Adam here, your launch account manager. A little bit about him. If you want to reach him, if you're online, you can contact him, and that will send an email directly to Adam. He will respond to you within, at the latest, 24 hours. This is a great current site for us, because if there are any updates, if there are programming updates, any changes, anything that we need to communicate, it can come here immediately versus trying to send out emails to 150 people. This is live, and this stays up as well through the entire term of the contract and is updated very, very regularly. You can see here that your community, you can come and see the products that are in your bundle, TV everywhere, which allows you to view TV out of the home, your channel lineup if you have any questions, the rate sheet, again, more information on support, and then a digital welcome kit. And I know that this seems, go ahead, Jordan.
Teresa, residents might be wondering if this can be available on our website, and we're going to reach out to All Covered and see if we can link the website onto our website, so you can go onto the neighborhood, and there you'll find the link to this as well.
That's a great idea. Okay. And I know that this might seem like a lot of information right now. We're very sensitive to change. The majority of the properties that we take over are change. It's not always new construction. We're very aware that you've been accustomed to using a different provider. We're very familiar with all the other providers, and we try and bridge that gap for you and just make it as seamless as we can as you go through this change. This is an example of your Hotwire Fission mobile app, which you will be taught how to use either through the technician, through Fission educators, through launch account managers, through account managers. Those of us in the company are pretty well versed in it. But as you can see, with the first screen, that's billing information. So once you download the app and your bill is due, then you'll get notification that the bill, and there's the amount. And if you're set up on automatic pay, which we recommend to go paperless, Just keeps you current. The next is just an example of the different programming. So if you're going to ABC or Discovery or Bravo or HBO, this will bring up the programming that's there then at that time. Messages. These could be messages coming to you from our marketing team that maybe there's a special on HBO, or maybe there is a weekend free on a premium channel running movies. This is where you would be notified on the app. And then you can also use your app as your TV remote. And that's an illustration of how that will work. And I believe that this is very similar to your in-house, Jordan. What is your in-house communication system software? Oh, on the SMS?
We have a website that we've created
Okay.
on our own, so we're not using a program like Touchtown or something like that.
Okay, understood. And also, we will have, the technicians can help you download this app, but we can also, your residential sales specialist can walk you through it, and we do have material that can, help you go to the app and then download the proper app, and you should be good to go. This is one of our newer products. We just launched this about 3 months ago. And this is our Fission Direct. And really, this is another form of communication that we're using through what we call the customer journey. Really, from the start of the journey through the entire duration. It's not a marketing tool. It's truly a communication tool. So you could, if you wanted now, pull out your phone and text to Fission 73529. If you did that, then that's going to go to our corporate ops team, and you would immediately receive an SMS message from them as a welcome kit, and that you're allowing them to send you messages as it pertains to your area with respect to construction, when construction's leaving, when installations are beginning, all sorts of different types of information. Notices when it starts, as it says, reminders for service and installation appointments. It also gives you the ability that, for example, if you received that your tech is going to arrive today between 3 and 5 and you need to change that, then you can hit the link and change it and stop that. Alerts of outages affecting your community, that's pretty rare over on this coast. They encounter a lot more outages over on the East Coast. For example, we know that Verizon is deploying something like 3,000 miles of cable over in South Florida, and they're cutting cable left and right because they don't know where everybody's cable is. But we're fortunate that we don't have that issue in this market. So, again, we just want to communicate to you, and perhaps it might be over-communication, but we have found that it's better to over-communicate than to miscommunicate. If you do this and text to it, you'd also get a welcome kit. It will show you different videos and really just keep you aware of what's going on in the community. A little bit more. So this is an example of the welcome. Hello. It would give your name, tap here to get started, and that you're allowing. And then coming more into it, you just get more information. You get an invitation code, and I think that access code is for the website. Yeah, because it's part of the welcome kit. So I think that they have that sheet as well. You have the sheet on your chair that has the code, but in addition, if you elect to text to Fission, you'd receive it there as well. And then a little bit more information, and that's the same video that I just shared with you. So for example, if there was somebody that was unable to make it, your spouse, you could download it and show them that video as well if you cared to do so. A little bit more, again, as I illustrated, it's service-related messages only. It's, again, not a marketing tool. Want to change who gets the text messages, you can do that. You can go into your profile and update the information on that as well, and that will be tracked. And again, just more illustration. We're doing very, very well with it, and it's interesting because it's only been in the field for us for about 2 months, but it's enabled us as a company to not roll something like 150 trucks because either the issues were resolved on the phone with an account manager or with technicians in over the phone or customer service, and you don't need the tech to come. So again, it's it's being used to, everybody's so busy and everybody's everywhere. So it's, again, just another tool to ensure that we're not invading your privacy or your time and helping to deliver it when you want it delivered. Again, you'll receive messages on your installs, even your residential sales specialist, you'll get messages on that. That was the video on construction, but we're post that because we did not have that much construction in this development. This is the bundled package that you are receiving here. And any questions that you have relating to this, you can have the one-on-one with the residential sales specialist, and they can get into a little bit more detail around the actual products. But it's a digital favorites package, and I believe that everybody has that copy of the channel lineup and will be listed there as digital favorites. HD service, HD capable. Showtime, sports package, and HBO is included. 2 Fission HD boxes, 1 Fission HD DVR, and multi-room DVR service, which is exactly what it says. It's a DVR that can be played in multiple rooms in your residence. Your internet speed is 200 over 200, and the Wi-Fi is provided by an Eero Pro router. So that's the entire package for the property. Your phone service is 1 voice line, Fission Voice features, and Voicemail Plus is part of your package as well. And in addition, retail services if you found that you needed additional products or services. For example, some people spend a lot of time on the internet distributing or sharing of files if they work from home, and might need a gig circuit coming in because that's how much bandwidth they need of how they're communicating, going back and forth. So larger speeds are needed if necessary. If you have any question regarding the speed that's coming in and think that you might need more, that's a question to spend and ask with the residential sales specialist, and they can certainly help guide you around that. But 200 by 200 symmetrical is a large bandwidth, and you should be very, very comfortable with that speed.
Can you, what are we getting right now? Do you know we're getting, I believe we're getting 25.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what you're getting right now. Yeah. It's nowhere near this.
I think we're getting in the 25 range.
Right.
So we're going up to 200. So
right.
The speeds and the bandwidth should be very, very, very good compared to what
it will be. It's the comparison night and day. I came over from the East Coast where I had another provider. One of those big providers that was on that sheet. And I was able to move onto a Hotwire property here in Southwest Florida, and it was a fibered home, and I could not believe the difference in the quality of the picture, of the speed of how I was able to, sometimes I'll work from home, but exchanging files with finance or whomever, it's so fast and so efficient. And just really our technology, we are a technology company. That's really how we started, and that's the focus of the entire engineering team. And it works beautifully. We get really very, very few complaints ever about the technology. It's just really, really well designed. But going back to the promotional offers, these are available during, the launch period. And the launch period you're going to get installed in a month's time because there are only 147 units. But typically, the launch period will be a 90-day period. So that during, you get installed and you have it for 90 days or shortly there before, and might decide that you need an additional product. So if that's the case, then the lower pricing, or what we call the promotional pricing, is available during that time period for you. And again, this is your website, the Get Hotwired and Moorings Go, and the rate sheet and all of that is online as well. And the RSS, Residential Sales Specialist, can help you with any questions around that as well. So as we spoke, the residential sales specialists are here around the corner for after this meeting. A couple of things. They will schedule your meeting today if you have the time to go schedule it with them. But when you're preparing for the one-on-one meeting, which has to be conducted prior to your installation, And that, again, is a different value in our company. We want you to have a face-to-face conversation, if that's permissible for you, if you're traveling and you need to do it over the phone. But that's another safety check for us to ensure that we're in checks and balances and that you have a conversation with somebody before you are installed to make sure that we're all on the same page and that you're receiving what you expect to receive. So this is very important to us, but they'll ask you questions like how many TVs are in the house that you want to activate, your must-have channels, because you may be viewing channels today that may not be a part of the package. Of course, they will be available. And your current cable bill, and the reason that we ask if you could just share that is to ensure that what you have today is what you will have when we walk out after your installation. And the majority of the time, it is an enhancement to what the current packages are and the developments that we do go into. A number of internet-enabled devices, and this is important because the technician will help you set up the network, if you will, name the network if it's Teresa's home and whatever my password is, and help me to activate if it's an iPad, if it's my iPhone, if it's Sono, if it's, there's just so many, if it's my thermostat, if it's my Eero, there's so many different apps now for the devices to be connected to the fiber coming into the home. And the technicians will take the time and walk you through that and ensure that the devices in your home are enabled before he or she leaves your home at that installation. This is just in setting it up. As any time that you set up a new account, it's your security code and your security questions. And that's it. For that part of the presentation, what we'd like to do here is we have 2 microphones, and what we'll do is take, a question from the right and then to the left and just go back and forth. Let me introduce, if I could, a couple of people that are key on the team. Chris Newbert is a project manager on the property, and you've probably seen him around. He's been with us for quite some time and very, very expert in his field of network operations and engineering. I introduced you to Adam as well, and very expert. He's been in the industry for many years and very, very, very knowledgeable, and works with the moorings operations team, executive team daily. We have weekly meetings with that team as well, but Adam is really your subject matter expert for all of your properties. And what's your name? Zach. Supports all of us in helping as well. I'm teasing you, Zach. I'm teasing. So any questions? Yeah. Going back there with it.
Can we be assured that there'll be no gap between the termination of the existing service and the full operationality of the new service?
There will be limited downtime. The techs will inform you when the switch is going to happen. But if you make them aware that there's files you're working on or something, they will oblige. But the switch is pretty seamless. But they may 15, 20-minute downtime. That's minimal.
If we're unable to set up the one-on-one conference right now, how do we do that?
If you are unable to set up the one-on-one conference right now, there is a number that is on that form. Starts with 239. It's at the mid-bottom. You can call that, and they will schedule it for you. You can also, online, if you click the contact email, I will reach out to you, and I will schedule that for you.
One of the few attractive features of the package we have right now is that we have 2 modems in each unit. Will you be running, which leaves you no dead spots, really? Will you be running through those modems where your internet come through them?
We will be installing an ONT in the smart panel that will backfeed the service through the Cat5, existing Cat5 cable through to hit routers. The Eero router will install throughout the house, and then we have the ability to do a mesh network through the multiple routers. So to use the modems now, those will be obsolete.
So that's one of the benefits of what we're doing is that we're actually putting in better technology. We're upgrading everything from the cable boxes to the devices that blast the signal through your home. Everything is much higher quality, much more up to date. And honestly, what we're using now is really obsolete technology.
Will there be a technician on site permanently?
Not permanently, but what we do is, for example, during the launch period, the teams of technicians that are on the property are devoted to this property. So if there are 4 teams on the property, those 4 teams will stay during launch until everybody is installed. And then when you go to operations, that's a different set of skills and different technicians and different leaders. And then you will stay under that operational team. And what they typically do is assign 1 lead tech to the property so that they do too become the subject matter expert and familiar with the property and everything that happens inside the property. I wouldn't say, I interpreted full time that there would be somebody here 24/7. If that is, they won't be here on the property 24/7, but they're in market, with us living here and assigned to the property. So it's their team that if there's a trouble ticket, for example, that gets put into their queue, it's the same technicians, every other day that come into the property. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we don't have that service now. There's no need for that service now. There will be technicians working house by house hold, and so if there was some sort of an emergency, they would be able to tend to it, I think is what you're saying. But to have somebody here in an office waiting for a call would not be efficient or make much sense for what we're doing. Okay, I think one second. So the question was, well, who are those people down the hallway from you? Great question. Great question. You're confusing this is a common thing. There's all covered. All covered are the people down the hallway from me. They are our IT support service. They are not in any way related to Hotwire, who provides cable, internet, and what am I missing? Phone. Okay? So let's back up a little bit. Right now, forget Hotwire. They don't exist, right? We have DirecTV for our cable, and we have CenturyLink for our internet and our telephone. Right now, today, that's who's providing cable, internet, and telephone. Come May 1st, they go away, and they're replaced with these fine folks, Hotwire, okay? Throughout it all, we have All Covered. Now, All Covered is our IT support company, and they support the infrastructure that's here in this community. So, for instance, they support all the staff computers. They help you to troubleshoot if you have a problem with your internet or cable or telephone, and they support all of that equipment that provides those services to your apartment. Now, that'll change a little bit when Hotwire comes on board, mainly because they can troubleshoot most of the equipment that's being installed in your apartment. Because the technology is better, they can even have remote access to your equipment, which DirecTV hasn't been able to do. So you'd have to call All Covered, you have to make an appointment, and you wait for them to show up, then they look at your equipment and they fix it, and then, there's a lot more to it. We believe that the new system will be more efficient, more effective, and you may get a little bit more instant gratification from them being able to remotely access your devices. So I hope that helps. I want to create a clear distinction. All Covered supports our infrastructure. Hotwire provides the internet, telephone, and cable to the community. Does that make sense? Is that clear as mud? Good? Okay.
I had a question. You talked about having to know all the devices and everything. What about visitors? Are they, right now, visitors come in, there's no problem.
You're referring to the internet, right? So when somebody shows up, can they hop on the Wi-Fi?
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's your network. That's the network that will be set up in your home. And as I said, if it's you'll have, every home should have a password to the network. So when your visitors come to your home and they find your network, and then you give them your password and they get onto it, unless you want to make it free to everybody in your home.
And the same applies to these common areas when they go, maybe they stay in the guest suites or they go to the restaurants. They probably currently can hop right onto the internet because they use our guest network. And we will also have a guest network through Hotwire. So really, that was the long answer. You really you shouldn't have a problem with your guests. They should all be able to use the services just fine.
Yes. If you have a local number or 239 number, it can be ported over to us. Just don't cancel that number that you currently have until everything's done.
The telephones are currently being handled by Moorings Park. We're working with them directly. So if you already have a telephone number that's hooked in with Moorings Park, that process should be taken care of in the back end. You shouldn't have to take any steps. So anybody who currently has it inside of Gray Oaks, you should have no issues keeping your home phone line.
You showed it.
I have a couple of friends who want to know, how do I get NFL package?
All right. So the question that I get every single time. All right. So let's talk NFL. You guys get, through the channel lineup that is in part of the amenities package, you get the NFL Red Zone, you get NFL Network, you get ESPN. What you are referring to is the Sunday ticket. It is exclusive to DirecTV. It is not something that we can provide. However, you will be able to get it online, and your IT support team will be able to help you stream that to your television sets as necessary. And this is a one for Jordan, but I believe they will also be getting some of those on some of the community televisions.
Yeah, our plan is to provide this Sunday ticket through a streaming service in some of our common area TVs. For instance, the ballroom. We'll put a game on here. The bar perhaps in the Vines. Tony, our CIO, is putting together a communication piece to explain how, if you are interested in the NFL Sunday ticket, how you'll be able to get it in your home individually. So there's more to come on that communication. It's through the streaming service, it's great that we're getting better streaming capability, so you'll be able to watch that game with greater success. So you do have to have a smart TV or an HDMI cord that can be plugged into your TV, but it's very simple, and our IT department will be able to assist.
You showed a smartphone controlling the TV. We have individual controllers. We don't use these, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is absolutely correct. You will get a voice remote with each television box. That is an alternate way to do it on the off chance your batteries are dead or it's stuck in the remote or the couch somewhere. So you just can't find it. It's an extra way at no cost.
Okay. And the price to us on a monthly basis is about what we've been paying?
Everything that we have discussed and put up on that board and that remote control that we would put on your phone is $0 additional dollars. You will not receive a bill from Hotwire for anything that we discussed specifically today.
And I wanted to clarify, you mentioned having your household bill. Unless our residents are paying for something extra that we're not aware of, there is no household bill. And I don't want to create confusion amongst, you don't have to worry about a household bill. You don't have one. We pay that, Moorings Park pays that, so you don't have to. The only thing would be is if you had something extra that we're probably not aware of.
What is the time frame?
No, we have negotiated a package. It's in your hands. The channels that that we're providing. We've negotiated the internet and the telephone. If you want to go beyond what we've negotiated and provided to our residents, you can, but that'll be between you and Hotwire to work out what it is that you would like to have provided. And it is a very robust package, as you can see. I believe the SEC network's on there, Big Ten. There's a lot of great channels on there.
What is the time frame for this whole process to finish? Because some of us are here only for the winter.
Excellent question. So the question was, what is the time frame for installation? We are looking to start installations at the beginning of April and be done by the beginning of May 1st. A vast majority of you should be up and running. If for some reason there is someone who is leaving seasonally and we need to move that day around, we can. If you need to have your installation after May 1st because you won't be here through that month, we can absolutely still install when you return, or we can work with Moorings Park, and when you're not home, have a representative there to do the installation during that time frame as well. We have multiple ways to work around that.
Yeah, there's some people that might want to leave for the summer, come back, and then set it up. Because you're getting used to a new device, a new remote, a new system altogether, and if you leave for a few months, that might be difficult. So that's perfectly fine. I don't prefer the idea of having us there to have it installed while you're away. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't even think I would authorize that.
Okay, so then only when you're there.
Yeah.
Now, he did mention something. We do offer education appointments. That's where we will come into your home and we will walk you through all of the devices. So if you know you're going to go on seasonal, you can schedule that when you get back so that you feel comfortable with the TV remote control and the internet again when you get back down. There's a gentleman who's been waving.
To avoid any confusion, Jordan, could you explain the charge that we get now for TV? Will that go away or will it just stay the same?
I think you're referring to is, will it appear on your bill? Right?
Right.
And I think that there is a movement for it to eventually not be on your bill. We pay it either way, but
we get charged for it.
It's
an itemized part of our bill.
Whether it shows on your bill or it doesn't show on your bill, I know that. But what I'm saying is, it may not show on your bill. Ultimately, the residents pay for it. All the residents pay the same amount. So it could show up on your bill or it could not show up on your bill. It really wouldn't matter. You don't have the option to opt out of it and not be charged. So, but I think there's a movement that eventually it just won't show up on your bill. We'll still be paying it. It'll still be part of our normal community operations expenses. Mr. Lyons, how am I doing explaining that?
No.
Yeah.
There's currently $109. It goes up every year by whatever the maintenance payment goes up. And so the question basically is, and that gives us a certain amount of service. And so the question is, will the new service be equal to the old service? Will the charge that we get stay the same or will it be different? We know we can put on incremental services. And so I don't think any of us know the answer to that question.
We do know the cost per household that Moorings Park is paying for the negotiated. Well, there's differences. There are differences. For instance, the NFL Sunday ticket would be a great difference. But whether or not it shows up on your bill was the original question on your monthly service fee. And I believe that it may at first, but it may eventually in 2021, you may not see it anymore. I think that'll be the difference. Yeah, it'll be in the maintenance fee. It'll be built in. Yeah. But like I said, I don't quite know what the answer is. So, yeah, but we do know what the fee is. Now, if you opt for additional services, then you would have additional fees, but that would be something separate negotiated with Hotwire. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I believe you'll be asking for, will you ask for payment information when they have the meeting?
Today? When they have their meeting.
When they have their one-on-one meeting.
Right.
Yeah, so that's where you work out those items.
A number of apps now require that we identify our internet service provider, and then they ask for a login. The current system does not permit us to do that because the login is a corporate account and not an individual account. Are we going to have individual logins so that we can respond to those apps and gain access to them?
You will have that access because you'll need that as well to even download this app the first time that you do it to verify that you are Hotwire. But, you know, for example, if you have like you're streaming on your Apple phone or Apple product, you know, the second or third time you go in that it automatically recognizes you. But yes, for the first time, and you will get that user information from us.
If in the networking installation additional shielded Cat 6 lines need to be pulled, will that be done by your technician or do we need to go to a third-party provider?
The units are well equipped with Cat 5. Yes, we would do that. We would do that.
In the back? Yes?
Jordan, I'm still a little confused about your answer regarding the cost. I do understand that you're looking forward to taking the cost and putting them in our normal bill, so they will not be itemized.
Right.
The question is are services going to cost us more than we are paying now, or will we be saving money by employing these people?
Yeah, your monthly bill will not go down as a result of this new contract.
How surprising. Will it go up? Will it go up is the question.
What was the second part of the question?
The second part was, will it go up?
No, unless you opt for additional services. So for some people, for you, yes, perhaps they would. If you opted for the NFL or some advanced movie channel, we did provide some movie channels, but you may want some other movie channel. It could cost
After
more.
going to the one-on-one session and talking to one of the people, our current service provides for 4 boxes so we can have 4 TVs. And if we have 1, we pay extra. This service only provides for 3 boxes. So you're liable, if you have 4 TVs, it's going to cost you $10 extra a month.
Yes, if you want more than what the package that was described includes, then you would pay a little bit extra for that. So are you talking about total number of devices, boxes in your personal unit? What about the plug and play? Did we talk about plug and play?
The old service they provided for
Fourth box would be $10. So if I'm thinking about right now. You get 3 right now, right?
No, 4.
And you pay. So that's no. I think you get 3.
You get 4.
I think what this is illustrating is a need for a follow-up item. And I will commit to you that I will clarify what we are getting currently and what we will get. We get 3 with the new package. If you want a 4th, it's $10 a month for that 4th one. So some people literally in this room right now are saying that's what we get now. And some people are saying that's not what we get now. I will clarify it. I will clarify. Are they special? Are they special? Was that the George Pappas special deal? That, you know, he's a negotiator.
I have a question. I think what you're saying is, what is concerned about is there are a certain amount of services we have today for a certain amount of money. It has both hardware and software involved with it. You're providing a certain number of services, and we're wondering, is it symmetrical, is it not symmetrical? And I think that's what Jordan is saying he's going to explain to us. But I have a different question. If we have things like Roku, Apple TV, and we have general controllers that control the whole thing, are we going to have to bring in specialists after you come in to re-hook up everything in our general controllers and so on, or are you doing this?
The Apple TV, the Rokus, that will maintain. If it control.
But if you have an overall controller that controls everything, are you going to reprogram that, or are we going to have to bring in specialists to do that?
No, we will not reprogram it. But the only thing that has to be reprogrammed would be the set-top box. That's it. The Roku. Yeah, but we can program the sound bar, the television, our set-top box. That will work with our remote, the voice handheld remote. That'll work, but it won't control your Roku. It will not. Your Apple. No, but that will still be programmed. The remote will still be programmed for Roku, Apple TV, because we're not going to touch it. Your set-top box, no, you would have to bring in a third party to okay.
What Mr. Lyons just mentioned is, comparing the services. So let's talk about what you don't have now that you will. Okay? Or we could talk about what you do have now. Not much. All right, you will lose the NFL Sunday ticket. We've been very clear from day one about that. This is not new information. You currently have a DVR, right? And you currently have about speeds of about 25 Mbps, right? You're going up to 200. So all those buffering issues that you experienced, you probably won't experience those anymore. Every time it's cloudy out and it rains and you lose your signal, that will not be an issue with the new service, okay? That's all I heard about for the first year that I was here, okay? Those delays in channels because the equipment was antiquated and could not be upgraded. That goes away. You will have a remote control that you can speak into. You press the button and you say whatever channel you want. ESPN. Boom, it takes you to ESPN. You don't have to know the number. You will have a remote that if you say, I wish I would have seen this movie, I wish I would have put it on, or I wish I would have recorded it, but I forgot to record it, you will be able to rewind right then and there for a couple of days worth of shows. You can go all the way back a couple days and find that show that you forgot to DVR and watch it, okay? Your capability to record shows increases, your speeds increases, your quality increases, all while maintaining the same amount that the company was paying for. Did I miss anything? Oh, multi or whole house DVR. So you can DVR in multiple rooms, or in one room, and go watch it. Okay, here's a classic scenario, right? You're watching a show in your living room, right? But then you get sleepy and you're like, well, I'm going to go watch this in bed. Shift. You can watch it. You can pause it in one room, go into the other room, and you can watch it. Okay?
It is good.
You can't do that now. All right? So there's a lot of scenarios that we've improved all of your technology, your speeds, your services, and capabilities. And the picture quality, I don't think you'll be able to compare. When we compared all the different companies, all the different technologies, our goal was to increase the value, and we believe that we did that with Hotwire.
So Jordan?
Right.
One second.
So,
what's the question again?
But replay TV is 48 hours, and on demand, which is movies or, we do have on demand.
If you forgot to record a TV show, can you go back a month and watch it? No. There's, what is it, 4 days?
48 hours.
48 hours, you can go back. So that's good. That's better than nothing, which is what you have now. But there's also a service called On Demand. I'm sure most folks have heard of On Demand. If it's an on-demand show, you may be able to go back that far because On Demand is available to you.
Right. We have about 50,000 assets or programs, if you will, on the On Demand library, and it's a combination of movies, broadcast shows, things of that nature. And that continues to build at a rate of about 500 new titles each month, and will continue.
Jordan, if I currently pay extra for another DVR, in my case, because I can't do what new system will do.
How many do you currently have?
I have 2, and I pay for one of them extra, so I won't have that charge. Correct?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay.
I'd like to know about your voicemail system. Currently, our voicemail goes to our computer, and unfortunately, it frequently does not work. What will you be doing?
The Voicemail Plus system that you get actually does send it via email as well. It is set up. I've actually never had someone tell me that theirs wasn't working, but it is covered under this already. In addition to that, you can access your voicemail through the phone using star codes, and we've already provided the breakdown of what those codes are so that you can do that either from your home or calling into your home or online. All of those are available.
That's another benefit that I forgot to mention, the voicemail system. We currently have a pretty old system. It's called Optical Tel. It needs to be updated regularly, and then when it's updated, you don't get your voicemails afterwards because there's a change that needs to be made manually by our technology company. That system goes away entirely with Hotwire. So we shouldn't encounter that issue anymore. And we know anybody who's had this issue, it's routine. So that should go away. That's another benefit.
Can we use our Alexa, Google Alexas?
Excellent question. So I heard this outside as well. Amazon Alexa, Netflix, Amazon Prime. Our internet absolutely can support it. It will work with our internet. There's not a problem. People that, like, you would have to set up Netflix through a smart TV, a Roku device, an Amazon device, something like that. It won't run through our box, which is was a question that we got outside, but it is absolutely capable of running it. Typically, a high-definition movie on Netflix requires a speed of 9 to 14. You guys get 200. So 5 people could do it, watch a different show on Netflix at the same time. And the little gadgets can absolutely connect to it as well.
I'm curious, since we're on the technology subject, how many people actually have an Alexa or an Echo or something like that? Wow! I'm so proud of everybody. That's really cool. That's really, really cool.
So remember, if you have an Amazon Alexa, when you're talking to the consultant and you're setting everything up, make sure you count that as an internet device. If you have 5 of them, that's 5 devices, so that we know, because if my tech doesn't know you have it, he can't help you set it up.
Any more questions? If not, here's what I'm going to ask for. Patience. Patience. This is not going to be all rainbows and unicorns. We're going to try to make it a really nice situation. There's, how many people are outside?
I think we have 5 or 6, but I wanted to add to what you're about to say during it's not going to be all rainbows and it's not going to be beautiful. From myself reporting directly to the CEO, that is one of our main focuses, is that when you're going through the transition, that it's not uncomfortable for you. And I give you my commitment, as I have to the entire board at the Moorings, that we are attached to this property 24/7 when you start getting installed and going through the launch. Behind the scenes, we have a network operations center watching every device being deployed and activated into each and every unit. You have, Chris is on site. I'm getting daily, hourly reports as to how many people have been installed. We get end-of-the-day recaps. Were there any issues? We try and install specific people early on so that they're friendlies, if you will, and they can give us the feedback as to how our technicians did. If there's an issue when you're installed, and say, for example, you got installed and an hour later something goes wrong, you go to that launch account manager, they pick up the phone, the tech comes back immediately. So we work very, very, very hard and just really want you to be comfortable with the transition and
That's
not
why we
go to
selected
Georgia.
you.
Yeah.
That's why we selected Hotwire. We called big communities that made the transition to Hotwire. We did reference checks. I actually made those calls myself. I called Bonita Bay, for instance. We called, was it Windermere? Collier's Reserve, yeah, Pelican Landing. We spoke to, yeah. So we actually spoke to the people, the residents who were in charge of that process, and asked them how it went, and they were all glowing recommendations. So enough of that. We do have folks outside of these doors to sign you up. We ask for just some order and some patience as they go one by one and sign you up, okay? And remember, if you can't make it, there's a phone number that you can call and schedule. Thank you, everyone.